While many of us may complain about the difficulties faced in our lives, triple amputee Rajesh Durbal sought to defy the odds by competing in various triathlons throughout the world. Durbal shared his triumphant story with the media during a ceremony at the Ministry of People and Social Development. The function was organized to award the inspirational young man with a certificate as a Global Social Motivator.
I wanted to make a lifestyle change. I realized that life could be lived a whole lot more better than how I was living it. Though I had all the material possessions that I could possibly want and luxuries that you would consider worldly possessions that everybody strives to have, I felt like there was something lacking in my life personally, emotionally, and I needed to discover that. And I went on this journey to start walking 5Ks and quit smoking, quit doing all the negative things that take you down a road that's a dead end. And I just decided to make a lifestyle change and discover a part of myself. And that's what really helped me spark that journey.
Minister of the People and Social Development Glenn Ramadharsingh stated that Durbal was one of his personal heroes and was pleased to present him with the certificate.
So that we have invited Rajesh to accept the first certificate to be a social motivator for the Ministry of the People and Social Development. And we give him this in the context of his global importance.
Ramadharsingh also announced that his ministry is currently in the process of revamping its image.
The Ministry of the People and Social Development has traditionally been seen to deal with people who are sick and weak and differently abled. We want to change the imaging of the ministry. We want to see each client as a potential health and fitness freak. We want to see each person who comes for the disability grant, who can't work, coming to get back to work. We want to move from welfare to work.
For When Eyewitness News, I am Jesse Ramdev.
It's my pleasure to welcome on set the man you just saw being featured, Mr. Rajesh Durbal. Mr. Rajesh Durbal, a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
I must say, I can only just simply describe the gentleman here as the power, really true power of the human spirit. Many of us complain when we just get a little bite, a little mosquito bite, or we have a little sprained ankle. But when you look at someone like Mr. Durbal, who is a triple amputee, for those who probably not familiar with the terminology, basically in terms of his limbs, he lost, three. Doesn't have three of his limbs. That's his right hand and his legs. And he has been doing wonders across the world. Mr. Durbal, first of all, tell us about some of your accomplishments and what brings you to Trinidad and Tobago.
Real high level, my accomplishments have been in triathlon in the world of athletics. Outside of that, I've done a lot of work with prosthetics, research and development, and developing new components to remove limitations from people that have prosthetic devices. I've done clinics for disabled people. We've done motivational tours last year and this year again. And what brings me to Trinidad really is to help people. I really have a passion to help people and to see people remove their limitations and take their disability and make it an ability.
And your bloodline runs deep in Trinidad and Tobago because your parents are from Trinidad and Tobago. Well,
yes.
Right, Trinidad. Okay, Trinidad and Tobago. And just put it in the context, some of the accomplishments. And I really want to heighten or make awareness of this because, again, I keep saying we complain about so much. And you have this gentleman here that's doing, 10 times what some of us wouldn't even attempt to do. He's the world leading practical inspirational teachers, or one of the world's leading practical inspirational teachers. In 2011, he competed in the Kona, Hawaii Ironman Triathlon Championships and created history as the world's first triple amputee to compete and finish in the Hawaii Ironman. He travels around the world, as he mentioned, speaking to corporations, conferences, schools, prisons, churches, athletic clubs, etc. And now he's here, of course, to share his knowledge with us in Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. In terms of that awareness, I'm sure I also see you've been working with some of our groups over the years.
Yeah.
Are we in a place where our minds are more equipped or wrapped around the whole concept of inclusion? are we differently able, or are we still very ignorant where that is concerned?
You know, you have the good and the bad. I definitely believe that Trinidad has come a very long way since I was visiting many years ago, and I could see the total transformation that's happening. People are a lot more receptive to something that's new, and people that have differently abled skills and abilities in order to live their lives. So I have seen a huge transformation happen within the last 10 years.
Right. And in terms of the Run Tomorrow, tell us a little bit about the Run Tomorrow that you're taking part in.
Yeah, the Run Tomorrow, the Ministry of Social Development and People, Dr. Glenn invited me personally to come down 2 weeks ago to help lead their efforts to get people out, specifically for disabled people that have all different types of disabilities, to come out and to get the vision checked, to get the blood test, to do a 5K around a lap around the savannah, and to just bring more awareness to people that are differently abled.
Now, let's get a little more personal here now, in terms of your disability. And I don't want to use disability per se, but you're differently able. I prefer that too. Can you just take us back exactly when did the change happen? When did this happen to you? And exactly what led to you being differently abled?
You know, the doctors don't know. We all looked for a reason why, and
it wasn't an accident. It was actually something medical.
It's medical, congenital. I was born missing bones and ankles and toes, and my hand was just not developed, my right hand. And we looked for all these reasons, and we couldn't find a reason. And I just realized the fact that God created me perfectly and for a specific purpose, really. And He's been using me.
I was just about to say when you finished, but you took the words right out of my mouth. Very, very true.
Yes, yes.
And what, staying on that trend of thought, over the years, I'm sure you would have had your challenges, your moments. What kept you staying positive? What kept you not falling off the ladder, as they say, with grief and depression and anger?
Right.
Because I think that is important for many out there who maybe going through similar situation like yourself in terms of physical, and they don't know how to deal with it. What really kept you strong?
You know, I have to be honest. There was a very, very long period of my life where I was not strong, and I was in very dark places in my life with multiple attempts to commit suicide, multiple attempts to just end it. And I had no hope, and I had no passion or emotions. I didn't love myself. I didn't care about the world. I didn't care about anything. And all I just wanted to do was be out of it. And you know, I would sit there negotiating with God, just let me, just take me out. I don't. There's no reason for me to live because there's nobody accepts me. And and then I got saved. I got saved in 2006, and I stand. Amen, and that's why I said I had worldly possessions, and I had everything that I thought could fill me up, and I just had this void. So then that's what kept me. That's what really set me on solid ground, where my thinking and my vision and how I saw myself and how I was seen really transpired and helped me to take leaps and bounds and stay strong when it got tough.
And I think that's a big mistake that we make, and congratulations, of course, you being saved as well. I want to say that. I think that's the misconception people have with this thing called the journey of life. We do this thing called self-gratification, and we think that that is the answer to everything. And I was looking at a video, as you mentioned, that of these young men, and they started off the videos actually on Facebook. You take a look at it, and they were saying, we want to do something to change the world. And they said, we have all these different dances and these different, craze that's going around. And they said, let's start a new trend. And the trend was to feed the homeless. And it was a really powerful video from these two young men. And the thing is, you're taking your time to spread the message of inclusion and spread the message that you're special and spread the message that you are differently able and you're special and God made you special, and that can be a really mammoth task, and you've taken this on, and I'm sure you're seeing the rewards.
Oh yeah, definitely. Every day is a sacrifice, and I'll be honest, I tried to shut everything down a few times as I kept on progressing, because I realized I was getting into things that I had no clue how to go about it. But I realized that as every challenge comes, you have to either rise or you sink, and I ended up rising to that occasion. So it's been a huge monumental task, but it's been tremendous amount of rewards and feedback as you notice.
Definitely. I mean, I'm looking at the accolades here. I mean, it continues. He was featured in magazines including ESPN and also CNN. I smell CNN good yet. In 2012, came to TNT for the first time and held the nationwide No Excuses tour. Tell us about that tour quickly, as we have a few minutes before we wrap up.
Yeah, that was a partnership with Ash Leadership, with Nigel Wall, and Growing Leaders, and a whole bunch of other NGOs, and an army of volunteers that helped put that together last year. And it was a week long of just touring the country, spreading hope and inspiration, and we had a Live Free Last Lap. And that was geared towards the foundation that I run. And so the whole week of last year, we did this whole tour of just hitting every different facility you could think of, targeting differently able people.
Well, I want to thank the ministry, first of all, for really bringing down. I mean, your story is very inspirational. As a people, have a whole hour to talk about. You know, this of course, a very tight program. So I'm really glad that you could have come and spent some time with us. Now, you mentioned that we have come a long way in TNT in terms of awareness, quote unquote. But I must ask, where are we lacking?
You know, I
mean, because I know there are things, and I know the minister, he has been doing a lot to raise awareness, and maybe it's always good to get perspective from different areas. So it's not a matter of criticizing, it's just a matter of finding solutions.
Constructive criticism, to call it. You know, there's building codes and legislation changes are probably like the top two that would ring in my head. We are working with the CODO, and that's later on in the week. I would meet with one of the Sharda, I can't remember her name. And we're going to talk about the 5 key areas, and this is a plan put together for next year called Inclusion Fusion to hit these 5 target areas. And that includes tertiary education, legislation, statistics, awareness, and one other part I can't remember. But the 2 main areas are legislation changes and awareness.
Awareness.
Yep.
Well, let me just give you some more information on the run tomorrow. Please go out. Kids, children are on vacation. Take them out to see this run. It begins tomorrow from Napa, correct?
That's right.
And begins at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So it starts. So guys, going to be a really large turnout from the response thus far.
Oh yeah, definitely over 1,000 people at least. Yeah.
Wow. So it's the Ministry of the People and Social Development HEAL and Invitational Run and Health and Wellness Fair. It starts off with the run tomorrow at 8 a.m. starting from Napa. You're going to see him in action. You know, he said, he's not going to embarrass people and run too fast. He's going to, make people look bad. You're going to run at a nice pace.
I'm a nice pace, yeah. I will stop frequently.
Mr. Durbal, thank you very much. I mean, truly inspiration indeed.
Thank you so much for having me.
All the best to you in all your endeavors. And please come back anytime to our studios.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
All right, not a problem. Let's take a short break. When we come back, well, interestingly, we go into our sports cap report after this break. And of course, he knows a lot about sports. Let's take a break. When we come back, lots more.